Good evening, one and all present over here. I myself, Rashmi Vyas, on behalf of the ITF, would like to introduce to our forum that has been formed by Mr. Devesh Dadheech. I would also request all you to keep yourselves mute during the presentation, so in order to avoid any kind of interruptions. Thank you for giving us so much of valuable time of yours. So, this is the Dadheech International Trade Foundation, which this is the slogan, which is our slogan and which has been adopted by DITF as their soul. Well, I think this man needs no introduction in itself. This is Mr. Devesh Dadheech, who has head this DITF, which he has given us the platform for a youth of our Samaj to come forward and showcase our talent. So I would thank him for setting up such an organization. Well, our mission and vision for the ITF is creating a community of people who come together for a noble cause of economic empowerment, social development, knowledge, and service. Our vision is to inspire lifelong learning, advance knowledge, and strengthen our communities. Previous of the events, like the ITF has been running strong since the past 6 months, and it has conducted so far 13 webinars, which was a kind of very encouraging for us. The first was startup, then the second being the walk towards success, then what goes into the minds of the achievers, a webinar based on homeopathy and health management, a webinar on MSMEs, Right to Information Act, understanding of stock market, mutual fund and insurance, and a career guidance. A webinar on the Bill Finance Act 2021, a webinar on science, astrology and Vastu Shastra, then preparing for your job interviews. A webinar on obesity is silently on rise was conducted in Jaipur at the Rambagh Palace, where all the Dadheech Bandhu who are linked to DITF had gathered there. The next webinar that was on the cyber security, wherein all the Dadheech Bandhu of Mumbai had gathered. We had also facilitated the Dadheech community, the newly elected Dadheech community, and sharing few of the glimpses of it. Apart from conducting webinars, there were special events also being conducted on the occasion of Diwali, and also a very first workshop on the stress management, which was led by Meenakshi Dadheech. And apart from being the ITF, we also have a women's chapter, which is led by Mrs Adity Dadheech. We had conducted 2 webinars on it, a virtual Sanjara meet, which was a great initiative at the time of Corona. And the latest one was a women's celebration. We also have received certain appreciation from our Dadheech Bandhus. One from one which has Dadheech will change Samaj. The ITF will change the Samaj perspective by showcase of positive side of unexplored hidden Samaj talent and to redefine Samaj. This appreciation was received from Narendra Dadheech, the ex-president of Aditya Birla Group, Jaipur. The other one was I'm glad and grateful to you for supporting and encouraging Dadheech youth by helping and motivating them. Above all, according to me, your efforts will give us the path for increasing the success, building an excellent future, ready and willing to be a part of your campaign. This was received from Mr. Dr. Akshay Chandra Dadheech, Suresh Very, Eltile Smiles, Jaipur. Uh, we had also received a few testimonials from none other than Savitri Dadheech. I would like to share that as well.
Rashmi, there is no sound in the video. What I guess you have. Did you click on share audio while sharing screen?
Yeah, just a second.
But there's no sound coming. Just try doing it again once.
Itself of creating this international platform for our community is noble, great, and selfless indeed. Not for money.
Rashmi, can you please start again?
Okay, yeah.
Dadheech International Trade Forum, DITF. We are and we will be eternally grateful to Shri Dadheech for giving us this amazing forum. The vision itself of creating this international platform for our community is noble, great, and selfless indeed. Not for money, not for fame or personal gain, but to bring us all together as a community and for our betterment. DITF will help our community to grow socially and economically by bringing the vast and varied sea of experience, knowledge, learnings, teachings in various fields by our community people world over. Wow, what an incredible, great step is this DITF. I am fortunate that this happened during my lifetime and I am a part of it. Helen Keller said, alone we can do so little, together we can achieve so much. DITF will not only help us grow stronger economically, but bring us together as a community, whichever part of the world we are. Our younger and future generation will forever be grateful to us for giving them this wonderful platform because it will help them to return and connect with their roots. DITF coming together is beginning, keeping together is progress, and working together is success. So let us all at DITF pledge and strive to make DITF a successful platform and one of the most prominent community platform than any other community platforms the world over. Once again, many thanks to Shri Devesh ji for giving us DITF, for all the timely hard work he continues to put in, and most of all, the valuable gift of time he is devoting to make DITF successful. I request all the Dadheechs world over to take benefit of this DITF. Thank you.
The other being given by Sulochana Dadheech.
सभी को सदर नमस्कार। मैं सुलोचना भाबड़ा दादीच सभी से निवेदन करना चाहती हूँ कि जो भी लोग DITF से जुड़े हुए हैं वो बहुत ही सौभाग्यशाली हैं, क्योंकि आदरणीय श्री देवेश जी दाधीच द्वारा शुरू किया गया यह छोटा सा प्रयास आज पंख लगाकर संपूर्ण दाधीच समाज, चाहे वो गांवों में, शहरों में या देश विदेशों में फैला है, उनको सब जगह जोड़ने का पूर्ण प्रयास कर रहा है। आदरणीय देवेश जी दाधीच को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, कोटि कोटि सादर नमन। धन्यवाद।
The next given by Bharti Dadheech.
Hello everyone, myself Bharti Dadheech. I am working as a design engineer in Bangalore. I would like to express my gratitude towards the founder of DITF, Devesh Uncle, for this great initiative for bringing all the talent together, all the experienced people from not only national level but also international level in the webinars who are sharing their knowledge as well as experience, which will be really a great motivation for all our young youth for their vibrant futures. And I would say not only to the young youth but also all the people who are the regular attendee of this and the panelists of these webinars. That will be really very encouraging and motivating to whole Dadheech community. So it's really a step towards a great goal, and there is a long journey to go ahead. So all the very best.
There are many more things in the pipeline of DITF. We have also a DITF bulletin which is headed by Mr. Devesh Dadheech and also led by Taruna Dadheech. She is a writer and has written several books and is a winner of several state awards. She is our chief editor of DITF bulletin. These are the three DITF bulletin launched for in the month of Jan, Feb, and March. These DITF bulletins are also available on our website. So you can just go and download it from there. The ITF Learning Center. It is a great initiative which has been started. The primary objective being to groom, train, and enhance the skill set and provide practical working knowledge and related aspects of various tools, technology, process, and methods used in. This team is led by Mr. Devesh Dadheech, Sunil Dadheech, Kuldeep Dadheech, Arushi Sharma, Naman Dadheech, and Harshit Dadheech, and Jay Asoka. In case any of our Dadheech Bandhu require any sort of career guidance, can approach them. The next upcoming webinar is on understanding the succession laws and wills. The next one is one of my favorite, which is coming up, is a cricket season, which will be conducted in the month of December in the year 2021. All you got to do is just scan this QR code for setting up your own team. And for more details, you can write us on dadheech@ditf.org in. Today's webinar is on data science and artificial intelligence, which is going to be led by Ajay Dadheech, our moderator Nikhil Dadheech, and a vote of thanks by Abhinav Sharma. Thanks for taking us, having us of patience to deal with me. You can reach us on the www.ditf.in, which is our website. You can also contact us on dadheech@ditf.in. You can also subscribe on our YouTube channel, Dadheech International Trade Foundation, and link us on Facebook as Dadheech International Trade Foundation. Thank you so much. And now I would like to hand over the mic to Ajay Dadheech.
Thank you, Rashmi. So I'm gonna share my screen here. Nikhil, do you wanna take over the audio?
Yeah, okay, so I'll give a brief introduction. Hello everyone, welcome to the webinar on a sneak peek into the world of data science and artificial intelligence. Data science and AI are very hot topics these days. Almost every industry is trying to evolve itself and try to add them into its domain. Data science is an interdisciplinary field with very vast applications, starting from astronomy, medical science, defense, and even sales. So today we have Mr. Ajay Dadheech with us, who will be speaking on data science and artificial intelligence. He is a data science manager and consultant with more than a decade of experience in big data, IoT analytics, advanced analytics, and AI. And also, we have a change of pattern this time. So this time we will not be having a plain presentation. It will be an interaction between a moderator, between the moderator and the speaker. So without wasting any time, I would like to invite Ajay ji uh, for the presentation.
All right. Thanks, Nikhil. Hope everyone
And
is able to see my screen.
yeah, so
Right.
Ajay,
Let's go ahead.
yeah, I have a very direct question from you. So, what
Okay.
exactly is data science, and what is this artificial intelligence everyone is talking about these days?
Yep. To answer that question, Nikhil, I'll just take you simply to very basic questions, which at some point of time in our lives would come into your mind, right? And these are very real world problems. Let's say there is an international bank like Bank of America, Citibank, HDFC, ICICI. CEO of that bank is focusing on targeting some sales targets for 2025, 5 years from now. How can that person decide those targets? What would be the decision factor? Or, there is a global textile company. They want to set up their production target, daily production target, and they want to increase it by some percent. How do they decide on that percent? Should it be 5%? Should it be 10%, 7%, 7.7%? What is it? How do they decide what should be that final number to make that decision, right? Or Netflix. Everyone watches Netflix nowadays. How does it know that what are you going to watch next once you completed a series or a movie, right? What you would like to watch? How do they know it? What kind of analysis goes behind it to make that decision that these are the number of films you might watch or might like after you have watched this? Or very simple, everyone got the face lock on their phone. How does your phone know that it's really you and no one else before it unlocks it for you? So all of these are the real world scenarios where data science applies. It works on the numbers, it works on the lot of data sets to make these decisions, to reduce your operational inefficiencies, to recognize your pattern, daily pattern, what you do from the moment you sleep, from the moment you wake up, and then go back to sleep. Everything is dependent on a lot of numbers you are generating through your phone, through your laptop, through your computer, whatever you are doing at your industry, at your company, at your business, work, home. Everything is linked together through data to power one or any other decision, and that is all what data science is. Does that make sense, Nikhil?
Yeah, it absolutely does. So I have a question. Like as you mentioned that if we need to estimate the sales target and so basically like there are too many sales industries or local stores which are into this business for a very long time. So don't you think they already have an idea about what are gonna be their sales for a particular season? So like what exactly is the role of data science here? Is it really relevant into this field?
Yeah, I'll give you one simple example. Consider any Kirana store at the corner of your street, right? He knows that what my sales is going to be in coming Diwali season or coming Holi season, in summers, in wedding season, in winters, and he would keep up with the stock accordingly. मेरे को 5 किलो घी ज्यादा चाहिए, मेरे को 10 किलो चावल कम चाहिए, मेरे को गेहूं ज्यादा चाहिए, आटा कम चाहिए, whatever, right? He would know for his own store. But if you come to Reliance Fresh or Big Bazaar, do you think that they have thousands of stores? Do you think that decision of stock keeping can be made manually, season to season, and efficiently? You know, I don't think so. So that's where we apply the automation of this word data science. Data science is nothing, playing with data. If you look at this chart, this says nothing. This part is basically what happened in past. We work on mathematical side of data, and then we forecast for next year, next 2 years, 5 years. When I say forecast, we are trying to predict what are the numbers going to be dependent on history. What was your pattern or any given behavior in history? In this example, let's say what happened at your 1,000 stores across India, depending on their region, depending on their season, depending on their location, what happened at that particular store in last 2-3 years, we are going to predict next 1 year, and also efficiently. Make sense?
Yeah, it does. This was very detailed example, and it really solved my doubt. So I have a question a following question, follow-up question, basically on the same thing. So could you give us some more real world example where data science field is used?
Sure. So, yeah, before we go there, I would also like to explain in detail why are we moving towards some when I talk about the predictions and all. So, on the left side, which you see, is the human intelligence. How does a human learn? The time a person is born, it learns from its experiences, its life's learning over the school, in college, at the very beginning of its career, failure, successes. Then he knows that this is what I should do, this is what I should not do, and then becomes efficient at whatever they do, right? Eventually.
ये है वो आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस का चल रहा है इधर हाँ
To participants, I would like to request, please kindly keep yourself on mute.
Thank you. Yeah, so human mind trains itself over the time. You would know that what you were in college 10 years back, you are better than that now. You know what should I not do, right? So that's training we do for our mind, but we just got one mind. How about replicating that human mind into a machine? That's what we call a computer, right? Multiply that one human mind by 1,000 times, 10,000 times, 1,000,000 times, 1,000,000,000 times, and that's where we intelligence. Now that artificial intelligence, the computer mind is learning from 7 billion people across world, their lives learning, their failures, their successes, and not and time is not getting multiplied. It doesn't mean that if we learn something in 1 year, computer is going to learn the same thing in 1 year. No, it's going to learn that thing within 10 seconds or 5 seconds, and that time is reducing. Earlier it used to take longer time, but now that time is reducing. So that's where power comes. Conversion of one human mind to billions of computer minds. That's why we call it artificial intelligence. And the entire field of this artificial intelligence is built on data science. Data, anything you talk about is data. So to your next question, Nikhil, what kind of data are we talking about? If you have put simple examples from your day-to-day life, you have a Fitbit, you have a smart Apple smartwatch on your wrist, or any app in your mobile which detects the movement. It calculates how many steps are you taking. That's one data. It calculates your heartbeat. That's another data. It calculates your direction, compass. That's another data. If you're running, if you're cycling, if you're walking, it knows. It is able to detect that. Based on that data, your device is generating. You have seen Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Spotify, anything. Once you watch a particular kind of video, it would recommend another similar video for you, because it knows that kind of behavior you are applying in your life. You are watching, let's say, Narendra Modi's video, you are watching, let's say, Shah Rukh Khan's video. It knows that you like Shah Rukh Khan, and that's why it is going to recommend similar video where Shah Rukh Khan is. So what is it? It's recording what you are doing and then recording over and over every second. That data is being stored and analyzed for your behavior. Google search, multiple times when we try to type something and then it auto completes, right? How does it know that you are going to ask that question? Because it knows in your region, in your city, or in your country, this question is asked on this topic. It already knows that because it's recording all of that data. Social networks, abuses, some of the posts are detected automatically which are offensive to people and blocked. There is no one sitting manually over there and identifying, okay, this post is not correct for anyone or it's offensive, let's block it. No, it's all automated. They know based on the report which you put on some post that no, this is offensive. It records that, and if there is another similar post, it's going to block it automatically after that. And then we know Google Maps. It exactly knows if you are going to reach to your destination in 21 minutes. How does it know? Because there are so many other people going from your point to that point, destination A to destination B, your railway station to your home, your airport to your home. There are so many people going to the same location, and it's recording that data every second, every day from last 20 years. So that's training happening for computer minds, which is called artificial intelligence. Weather forecast, we have been seeing this our childhood. That data that we know what happens in last 100 years, depending on that, we know that, okay, summers are going to start in probably April end for this region. Mumbai is going to be humid in monsoons or later or before that. Kerala is not going to observe any winters. These are very high level predictions, but then there are very specific predictions as well, depending on your location, depending on your region. If you are in coastal area, if you are in tropical region, if you are in a mountain. So we analyze that data, we see what happened in last 120, whatever data we have, and then based on that, we predict the future. Medical science. What happens in medical science is now we are able to detect the cancer very early, just based on MRI images. And doctors now do not need to look at your entire report. The computer tells them that, hey, these results, these test results of this person are very similar to that another person you diagnosed 6 months back. You can apply the same diagnosis, you can apply the same medical science here, which you applied for that person. So they don't need to go through the same process again and again and again, because we are humans, we are limited. We do not remember, or any other doctor might have done the same thing. It would just recommend that solution to him. Saves a lot of time. Right? Algorithmic trading, stock market. We always listen people that, hey, 2008 recession happened. These were the same situations when 2008 recession happened. So probably it's going to repeat it now. Or 2016 had the same situation for that particular company. It might be Reliance, it might be Tata, TCS, Infosys, anything, but same situation happened. What does it mean to have same situation? It means that their reports were same, their profits were same, their losses were same, their balance sheet was looking exactly what we have now. So that's the data we are comparing when we say the situation was same. And then we compare other data, and then we compare more data, because we have many data now. And based on that, we decide, okay, what is going to happen next. That gives us the capability of predicting in future. self-driven cars Tesla is creating now, or any other, the Audi is working on self-driven cars. How are they going to work? They are going to put a lot of sensors on that car, and that sensor, thousands of sensors are going to generate thousands of data points every time. They are going to detect if there is a car in front, in back, in left, right, if there is a yellow line which you are not supposed to cross, if there is a divider. Cameras are detecting everything. That is all getting recorded in form of data. And then they know they are training these cars from last 5-7 years for different situations. कि अगर सामने कार आ गई तो you have to stop. If there is anything else, any objection, any object in front of you, you have to stop or slow down or do this, do that. All set of instructions. It's just that we do not need to do it manually now. Computer knows it already based on the training we gave these cars over the years. So yeah, I hope that answers your question, Nikhil.
Yeah. That's really great to know. And it seems like AI and data science is gonna be, or rather, it has already become a very important part of our life. But where was it like 10 years back, and why is there a very huge surge into the demand and the applications of data science now?
So that's a good question. I would say data science has been there since ages, centuries. It was just in form of human memory instead of computer memory. If you remember, many of the members who are listening today would be familiar with Bahi Khata. What was that? Ledgers, right? That was some form of data, transactions. How many transactions did one particular kirana store had, or one particular business owner had? Everything was recorded in those Bahi Khatas. But that was data as well. And they, based on those Bahi Khatas, they used to do their own analysis. They used to come up with their own forecast. So that is also data science. But if you combine that with statistics and some of the mathematical formulas, you would be able to leverage that data even more and do some predictions which are accurate than your simple experiences. But now what happened in last 10 years is that you is power storage, the storage of data has grown. We are able to store, if you remember 50 years back, IBM launched one floppy disk for just 5 MB in that big device. Now you can store TBs, GBs, jillions of data in very small device. So memory has gone cheap, and that's the reason we see a surge of data everywhere. This chart which you look at, it tells us that 90%, 80%, 90% of data was generated in last 2 years, and this is from 2017. We have even grown now. So it means that of the entire data we have in world, for every person, every computer, 90% of that data was generated in just like last 2 years. Because we have cheap memory, we are able to store a lot of that data. Your camera photos, your texts, your WhatsApp chats, your Facebook feed, everything you do on Facebook, like, dislike, comment, is getting recorded. Imagine how much of that data is there which you can leverage to identify the patterns. What can happen if that person clicks on something? What does it mean? It's very similar to our society. When we say, no, that person did something, and then you instantly have some judgment in your mind that if that person scolded someone or if that person shouted, you already know that, okay, this person is probably angry. How do you know? Based on your memory, based on your training. And that's how computer knows as well, that if you're commenting something offensive or aggressive, you are in a aggressive mode. And then it would do some recommended actions based on it. It would probably show you some videos which would calm you down, or it would probably show you some videos which would alleviate your aggression, depending on the platform you use. But they are leveraging the data which you are providing to them. Right? exists everywhere, every company. I'm going to give you some examples. Companies like P&G or Nike, manufacturing companies like Tata Steel, Reliance, IT companies, social networks, as I just explained, Facebook, election campaigns, BJP, IT cell, which we talk about. All of all of that is working on the data we are providing to BJP IT cell. We are chatting, we are talking, we are commenting on Facebook, social media in favor of BJP, in opposite of BJP. They know, and based on that, they are generating their campaigns. Chai Pe Charcha was a very successful campaign in 2014 based on the data we gave them. They knew that we loved Narendra Modi's Chai Wala symbol, and that's why they came up with this Chai Pe Charcha. There was a lot of data analysis went behind it, at least 6 months of analysis to come up with that tagline. And it hit right spot, right? Everyone loved it because chai was already on everyone's mind. And they knew it. And that's the leverage of data BJP took in 2014 and 2019 as well. And not just, one vertical, every vertical of every business. If you know some of the examples here, every company realizes that their operations, their marketing, their sales, everywhere there is so much of data they can leverage, produce use cases based on it. What kind of marketing bank should do for a city like Delhi? It would be different because Delhi people's behavior is different than Mumbai people or Chennai people or Kolkata people. What kind of production target we should set up in operations? Depending on our plant's location, what kind of moisture they have, what kind of weather they have, things like that. So data is really at the core of everything now. If you think that data is probably not important, you are wrong in today's world. Data is everything. Every second of your life is linked with some kind of data, which is getting recorded. So, yep.
Okay, so that was really like very punctiliously explained by you why data science is important and why we have seen this surge in the data science. So next question which I have is if somebody wants to build a career in data science, then what should he pursue in order to become a data scientist or a data engineer or something related to the same field?
Sure. So this is kind of a technical slide, but I'll quickly explain the roles which you can have if you know the data science. If you see on the top right side, there are some roles with government, public policy making, economical researches, mathematical researches. How does that happen? They collect a lot of data, publicly available data. They do their researches, census or population counting. That is a big, humongous data we have, and every other data which might be there. So the government basically employs contractors who would collect that data to create some public policies. Or on the right bottom side, if you are able to learn artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning are very technical words out there. But if you are able to learn all of that, you could get jobs in Google, Facebook, or in startup product companies or consulting companies who leverage this kind of side of data science, or business strategies. You can work with decision makers of a company, CEO's office, who needs to make decisions every day, every time, every month, every quarter. What you can do is help them out with your data and tell them that, hey, if you take this decision, this is how you are going to benefit. If you take this decision, this is what kind of loss we can have. But decision is always powered by data. and you can be that power behind making that decision. So it's very, very important role when I say what data science can do. A data scientist, a business strategical person can do a lot of things with that data to improve the business, the growth of that business. Everything is dependent on that. Or you can go in very specific roles, quality analytics, the operational optimization, which we keep talking about, or any company's R&D department, innovation and growth, any product company. All of that is you can learn about it and build your career in very specific roles in that side. So as I said earlier, majorly you can divide data science in these 4 or 5 areas, and you can choose to be in one of these fields. But how to reach there, right? I'll talk about that later. And I think this slide would make more sense for people who have engineering background or economics background. Data science is at the conjuncture of statistics, economics, mathematics on one side, domain knowledge on other side, someone who leads the sales or operations in one company. They know what kind of data would be relevant for them. I mean, there is going to be a lot of data, but everything is not relevant for them. So domain expert would know. When I say domain expert, it would be someone who is working with company or in that domain, retail banking, since several years, would know what kind of data is important for me. And the third part is really the computer science programming, that how are you going to work or play with all of that data. So programming implementation is usually the computer science engineering, IT engineering side. This is all of people who are leading any kind of business, have done their MBAs, or just leading the businesses, startups, and statistics economics is really someone who has done the masters in economics or bachelor's in economics. So, and combine all these three and you get data science. So now,
okay.
Yeah, go on, Nikhil.
So if somebody is a beginner into this area, so how should he start?
Sure. If you look at this chart, anyone who is beginner, if you have just completed your college, engineering, non-engineering, if you would want to move here, I would say focus on mathematics and statistics. Those fundamentals have to be very strong. You would need to work with a lot of mathematical concepts. So be very clear about it, that you would need to learn a lot of formulas, a lot of theories of mathematics. And once you build your foundation on that, you can go learn about programming languages like Python. It can be R, and there are several other programming languages. But programming language is nothing. It's just another language like English or Spanish or French to communicate with computer. That's all. French, Spanish, English is to communicate with people who doesn't know Hindi. And these programming languages are for computer because obviously they don't know our own language. So it's very simple. I mean, I would say it's simplest thing to learn about any programming language. Then once you're done with that, mathematics, some statistical concepts, how to interact with computer. You can learn about some advanced concepts like machine learning, visualization, how to create charts, how to create reports. And then there are some advanced concepts like big data and how to play with data. You got tables, you got numbers, you got text, you got audio, you got video. How do you play with that data? Learn what story that data is telling you. And then finally, you would have some understanding. Okay, now I know how to work with data. I know how to interact with computer. I know mathematical concepts. At that point of time, you can decide your domain, which we discussed on this slide, that which domain do I want to go to. but really you need to first start with understanding mathematical fundamentals of data science. So there are multiple courses out there on Khan Academy, Udemy. Um, you can just go and start researching on Google, learn about those courses. It can be a short-term course. There are plenty of YouTube videos freely available. You don't need to pay anywhere. But if you want to have a professional course done, you can do masters. A master's in data science is a freely, not freely, but widely available course across universities, IITs, IIMs, any other college is providing a master's in data science now. So you can opt for any PG diploma you can do. There are good certifications. Once you reach to this upper level, you can do specific certifications about how to connect my work in cloud infrastructure, how to do some very specific AI modeling or machine learning modeling or deep learning modeling, things like that. But that all comes later. First, you need to start with your basics and see if you are really interested in this field or not. It's very lucrative. Job offers are great. You are going to learn way more than other stagnant fields like of computer science engineering or other core engineering. So money wise is great, but you need to really be sure that you do want to do it. And it's very powerful role. Imagine you are working with the executives of your company. You yourself would be an executive at some point of day. You are powering their decisions based on the data which is there. You are going to directly work with CEOs, CEOs, CIOs, CFOs to drive those decisions, or their vertical leads, vice president of innovation or growth or marketing. So that's amazing opportunity out there. I would say data science, again, since data is there everywhere, if you are able to play with that data, if you are able to come up with a story. When I say story, it's basically to let people know who are not aware about that data, to let them know what your data tells you. This is what I do. I go to multiple companies, I take their data, analyze it, and go back to them and tell them that this is what is happening in your company, and they were actually thinking something else. They didn't know that. But when we tell them that this is what actually is happening in your company, then they make the better decisions, which eventually would help their company to grow. So this is how a powerful profile comes in, builds in. So I think if that interests you, if that kind of profile is something which you are looking for, go for data science learning. Start from scratch. Let me know if there are any questions. Please feel free to reach out. I would be always available and happy to talk to whoever needs any guidance and all. So that would be all, Nikhil, on this topic from my side. I think we can take questions.
Thank you, Ajay, for a very interesting presentation. So we have a few questions which we received while registration. So I'll be asking a bunch of them to you, and then we'll open the floor for the audience to ask.
Okay.
So my question is, somebody asked, like, can AI lead to significant unemployment, and how long it may take in India for AI to make impactful changes?
Could you repeat the question, Nikhil? The first part?
Can AI lead to significant unemployment?
Yeah. So, there is always a risk. If you really look back 100 years, 200 years, the development always happens. पहले घोड़ा गाड़ी हुआ करती थी, and then taxis came in. Then Ola and Uber aa gayi, so taxis are redundant. That's very one simple example which you can look at. So development is going to happen, but it doesn't mean that it would lead to your unemployment. So when we talk about artificial intelligence, someone has to make that intelligence artificial for the computer. Someone still needs to feed that training to computer. that is going to be a human, no one else. Who would tell a computer what to do, how to do? It would keep learning on its own later on, but at the very beginning and throughout the process as well, you need to be there as a computer's parent. How does a child learn? If child comes into this world, it doesn't mean that parents are irrelevant, right? So you have to be always there to monitor the training, monitor the growth, how how your computer is training, it's learning, what kind of output is it giving. So no, unemployment is not going to be there, but what you need to make sure is that you keep up with your technological background. If you are in technological background, you keep up, you be there. If you are in non-tech background, you learn whatever is required to keep up with your job profile. Let's say if someone is in government job, they didn't know, like 20 years back, 25 years back, when government introduced mandatory computer system in post offices or banks, there were people who didn't know computers, and then there were some who learned it. But learning is inevitable, you have to do it throughout your life. If you refuse to learn, you are going to be out, and it's independent on data science. So I think it's only matter of learning which you need to continue throughout your life.
Yeah, I think I also agree with you. Like, we have to evolve ourselves according to the surroundings, and if the world is changing so fast, so we have to change as well.
Yep.
So the next question which I have is it possible for data science and AI to basically track the changes and uncertain weather rainfall insects in the farming and agriculture? And if yes, then how far are we from achieving these targets?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, we are doing one project with a agriculture company in USA. They are growing coffee beans. We have deployed several sensors to monitor the health during the growth of those beans, and just before harvesting those. But it's really evolving very fast. If you look at countries like US, Europe, um, and they are coming up with very specific devices for specific crops, which can monitor the humidity level, which can monitor the growth, all other factors which would be relevant for that particular crop, and would be giving you the real insights uh, in real time on your device, and you would know, okay, you would know what's going right and what's going wrong. If something is wrong, it would even recommend you what to do. So I think it's growing fast, but the infrastructure needs to be there. So in India, I think there are a few companies, startups working in this area in Bangalore, which I know. But to adapt on mass level, scale of agriculture which we have in India, it would take another 10 to 15 years for big players to adopt to it at the bigger scale, and then eventually in next 50 years, I see everyone in agriculture adapting to it. But it's a great addition. If you are a serious farmer, if you are in agriculture and want to be tech savvy, um, definitely you should explore this area. A lot of help you're going to get out of this.
So with this, I'm gonna open the floor for the audience. If you have any question, then you can ask the speaker now. Somebody has asked in the chat box that any suggestion of how to change from non-technical undergraduate background to the data science.
So as I said earlier, it really depends how much do you love working with computers. If you are someone who is familiar with any of the programming languages in school days, we had computer courses like simple SQL or Java, or PHP. I think that should be enough for you to get started. It would take longer time if you are from non-technical background, but it's not too late. If you are from not tech background, just start learning. I can give you some initial courses on mathematical foundations which you need to build to get into this, and few very basic programming concepts which you need to learn, and you can build on top of it. Start learning about basic statistical concepts, data analytics concepts, and yeah, I think at least it should take 2 years for you from non-tech background to have a decent knowledge about data science and starting job in this.
Somebody has requested, Ajayji, that please share those mathematics courses you are referring to during the presentation.
Yep, I can send it out to everyone on the attendee list. You can join this group which I have created for any of the questions. I will be sharing the lot of content on this group as well. All the relevant courses. There are so many. I mean, we cannot put everything on one slide or two slides. There are so different type of contents out there. So really dependent on your profile. What exactly would you need? We can discuss, and then I can recommend some of those courses to you. And it
Nikhil,
really
can I ask?
depends what your current profile is.
Yeah, sure, sir. Go ahead.
Ajayji, I was just wondering, listening, it is quite an exhaustive talk you were given. Is it not likely to curb creativity? Because supposedly my trend is that you have come to know that I love playing, say, cricket. But ultimately, I will be deprived of knowing something about badminton. So, for example, you have Netflix has always shown to me that this is my taste. But then I am deprived of another taste. Is it not likely to be this way also?
Yeah, so that's the disadvantage of artificial intelligence at this point of time, I would say. But this is a growing field, right? As you said that we probably are limiting machines to explore new areas or new avenues which always come from human mind, and that is why artificial intelligence is not going to replace humans ever, because our mind is powered by some other energy, right? But machines are really powered by us. They are dependent on us, but our mind is limitless. Their mind is not limitless. Their mind is limited. So if I am exploring about badminton, but I do want to explore about tennis or do want to explore about golf, that would be in my mind. Machine would not be able to read it, but eventually they would also be able to read that trend once you switch as per that side of behavior. I would also like to say, a lot of people talk about that you cannot replace art. Art is something which comes from mind. It does, but then AI has been building the art pieces by itself, which are really great. All by art is the entire art piece is created by AI, because now it knows what kind of art humans are making since thousands of years. It knows everything, and then it comes to that point where it can create that kind of new piece of information which probably we haven't seen it. So again, there are disadvantages like that. You think machines are limited, but eventually they would keep learning time to time.
I have also
Thanks, Ajay.
Sure.
I have also looked for a very interesting question regarding the integration between machine learning and artificial intelligence. Could you talk more about the integration between them?
So, it's just confusing. I would say forget everything. Data science, AI, machine learning, deep learning, do not get confused. It's all, everything is same. Everything is dependent on data. So in one of the earlier slides, when I said artificial intelligence is driven by data science, is driven by machine learning as well. What is machine learning? Is a set of algorithms which we have categorized as machine learning. Algorithms are nothing but some set of mathematical formulas which we are telling the machine to run to generate some output. That's all. So it's not different. We are making the machine learn in very simplistic language, and that is what is called artificial intelligence. So when it comes to integration, it can have multiple meaning. If you are talking about from the very technical side, yes, machine learning implementation on machine for a longer run requires a lot of infrastructure, different tools, a cloud platform like AWS have multiple services. So if you're asking from that technical perspective, I think we can take it offline. I can, talk in detail, but this audience would really be disengaged if I start talking about the technical side of it. But yeah, it's a subset of AI itself.
Okay, then Ramanji has asked one question that he is currently pursuing BSc in statistics, and he is doubtful whether to become a data scientist, whether he should choose a master's in data science or in statistics only.
So I would say it really depends on your choice, Raman, because we have seen people coming just from bachelor's of statistics doing great, but then someone went on to do masters and PhD. So if you want to start your career as soon as possible, you can just do after your bachelor's. But it's always better choice if you have time. If you are not limited by time, you should go for masters. That's always a better option.
Yeah, I guess I agree with you as well. Like, I'm also an example. So my major in my bachelor was civil engineering, but currently I'm working as a data scientist. So that are like completely different fields. But I just learned by myself the data science courses, basic mathematics, and then did some courses during my bachelor's, additional courses cross department, and then I got a job in data science. So I think it doesn't really matter much whether you have a degree in statistics or in data science. It's more or less like if you can work by yourself, work on some great research projects, or basically work in this area, then you will have an idea what you want to do
Yeah,
next.
exactly. I mean, degrees are not required at all. This is a modern tech world. There was a statement from Google, they don't care about degree. Even my company, my team, when we look at resumes, we don't look at degree at all. We just look at your knowledge, your past experience, what kind of attitude do you have for learning, even if you're a fresher. So degree really doesn't matter. The knowledge which you gain, honestly, that knowledge has to be really the honest knowledge. What you know, you know. You don't know, you don't know. But you have to be honest with yourself at that point of time, and then keep learning. You would get there eventually. If you really want to, you would do.
Okay, there is, I think it's gonna be our last question. So there is question from Savitri ji. Could you please talk more about the private data protection? And so recently there was some uh, with privacy. So something related to the artificial intelligence.
Yeah. So it's a big concern, data protection, and a lot of governments and communities are coming forward to on this issue. So what is privacy, right? It really is a debatable topic. What you are doing right now, even if you're talking, your phone's mic is listening to that, to those words, and it's recording what you have been talking since throughout the day. So data protection is really a limitation which we want to put on those monopoly companies like Facebook, WhatsApp, and all of these companies, that they do not take advantage of our trust or the data which we have been providing to them. Now, the issue was that WhatsApp is sharing data with Facebook. It's WhatsApp is owned by Facebook, so it can always do that. And we would not be able to do anything because we have given our consent. When you created that account with Facebook and WhatsApp, you have given them consent that, okay, you are okay to use my data, my feed, my chats, my likes, dislikes, comments, and all. And for your information, WhatsApp encryption works well, but it has its own limitation. If a government comes to WhatsApp and asks about your activity, they are liable to give that information to them. So, but that was a really good step on WhatsApp which Indian government took, that you, people like us were not aware, people like you and me were not aware that WhatsApp at some point of time is going to share my chats, private chats with someone with Facebook. I wasn't aware of that, though I have given that consent, but I wasn't aware. So, that was trust-based problem, and government took the right step. Court took the right step to stop it. Now, we need to be careful about our own data protection. We are sharing everything in Google. Google has our Kundli from day to night to day. It knows everything. If you are on Android ecosystem, if you are an Apple, Apple knows everything. But it's really on us to keep our data private. But on the corporate side, these are monopolies which are working. Facebook, Google, Apple, they own these companies like WhatsApp, Instagram. They know what kind of behavior do they have, do you have. Again, they are not going to target specifically. They are not going to look that, okay, Ajay is doing this particular thing. Someone manually is not looking at that. It's just the group behavior they are analyzing. What is happening in Gurgaon? What is happening? Someone who is in Delhi traveling to this location using this device. Overall, group approach. No one is looking at your individual data manually. That's anonymous to them as well. They don't know the link between person's name and their activity. I mean, they have data storage, but it's illegal to work in that way. So we are okay, but please be concerned what kind of data are you sharing with these platforms. And there is a common saying: if there is a free service like Facebook, then you are their product. Facebook is not the product. You are the product. Facebook is working, utilizing your data. It sells your data to advertisers so that they can target you for their products. So you are a product for Facebook.
Yeah, I think it's very relatable these days, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with this note, I would like to pass the mic to Abhinav ji for the vote of thanks.
Thank you so much,
Thanks,
Nikhil.
Nikhil.
First of all, I would like to thank Devesh ji for bringing all of us together here on this platform so that we could all exchange ideas, raise our queries, and get guidance from experts of various streams. I happen to recollect there have been sessions on stress management, career management, finance, and particularly on IT stream also. We had the last one on data security and management, and this one on data science. I would also like to thank Rashmi for exposing us to the DITF and the core motto behind the DITF. It's wonderful to know the initiative and the causes of this initiative. And in the long run, we all will take substantial benefit from this platform is what I personally believe. That's what motivated me to be part of this journey so long. And I'm looking forward to all the future interactions and ways and means which we all could contribute towards the cause, making this cause further. Wonderful moderations and raising all the queries, raised by the all participants at various stages, and also helping us understand through your words in terms of the questions that you have raised. Lastly but not least, Ajay for explaining us what data is all about and how the science of data is impacting our day-to-day life. The careers that we all can make out from data science and the relatable terminologies of AI and machine learning and deep learning. I understand at one point of time it might have become too technical for all stakeholders, all participants here, but this agenda was purely from the understanding perspective so that users can connect with you offline also to get guidance from the career progression perspective also, right? Quite few examples that you mentioned, one such as Facebook and WhatsApp, and how we as an individual or product interacting with my previous organizations and having exposure on IT for almost a decade now in the consulting side and managing IT setup. I have been interacting with many vendors and the likes of representatives from Facebook, WhatsApp, and other platforms, initiators, wherein it was astonishing to know that every 100 rupees that is being spent on digital marketing today, 60% is diverted towards Google, 30 rupees is directed towards Facebook, and remaining 10% is being the kitty of all other platforms. So that's the distribution of marketing budget of organizations today. 60%, 60 rupees out of 100 rupees spent globally goes to Google, 30 rupees towards Facebook, and 10 rupees the entirety. And how are these guys making it, are being able to make this kind of substantial investments from these big corporate giants? Purely because on the data that they gather from various spots. Take an example of Facebook. We are readily sharing the restaurants that we have visited, the places we have visited, the flights we have taken to visit cities. Now, all this information that we are willingly sharing and the photographs that we are sharing is being silently recorded by these data stakes, right? And then they are applying their algorithm to derive the meaningful transformation of this information and then exposing it to various vendors. That when people are traveling from Mumbai to Delhi, these are the days wherein the traffic is high. They would be selling this information to airlines so that they can run campaigns with specific agenda to specific stakeholders or consumers and sell their product at a higher or a premium price. That is why we see today when we are trying to book a ticket, the early flights are reasonably cheap. The business hour flights are reasonably high. During afternoon, the flights are again, slightly less expensive, and late night flights are still cheaper. Why? How have these airlines come into this analytics of it? Purely from the fact that when people are trying to book tickets, when is the traffic higher, they want to manage the traffic such that all the flights are getting pre-booked and all the flights are flying full. Another example is an interesting one wherein Paytm once approached us while I was part of BlackBerry in terms of apparel group, that they wanted to promote BlackBerry's brand on their platform by giving gift vouchers to consumers, and they wanted to struck a business deal with us. We were confused as to digital marketing for an apparel brand, that too on a platform, how it's going to impact us and how it will give us return on our investment to them. Now, we all have given consent to Paytm to read our SMS, right? So that whenever we are trying to log in into Paytm, that OTP gets directly synced in. We have allowed Paytm to read that WhatsApp. Interestingly, when they are reading the OTP WhatsApp, they are also preserving these rights and they are continuing to read your WhatsApps even after you have moved out of Paytm platform. Explicitly, if you have not escalated this point to them that please stop reading my SMS, they continue to read it. This goes without saying that they are reading your SMS in terms of the salary statements or salary SMS that you have got from your bank of salary conditions. They have also read your credit card statements, SMS that you have swiped your cards. They know what is your balance in account because the banks are also sharing the SMS, and also all the various OTPs that you get for various digital transactions. And then basis this information, they are planning their campaigns and sharing it with corporates to to utilize so that there's a targeted audience. Now, apparel, BlackBerry apparel predominantly being a male brand, that too for a niche age group of 25 to 55, the target audience was particularly that. And they say that they have this data because they are able to filter this gender, age, and salary bracket structure by just reading the SMSs. Now, this is the irony of the era that we all are in. Our information that we are readily exposing to all such platforms is being manipulated and given back to us via various advertisements, or we have been targeted as a commodity now. So we have to strike a balance, because we cannot do away with Paytm also. Neither we can let these digital platform use us left, right, and center as a commodity. So thank you so much for sharing with us how and what the data science is all about, and how it is impacting our lives day in and day out. I would just like to add one more point, wherein someone raised, will data science or AI ever replace human beings? Unfortunately, it will not replace, but it will definitely make us, revive new places of work for us. Something that traditionally was working will no longer work for us. We'll have to opt for new streams of jobs, or new streams of businesses. Earlier there were basic programming skills required in freshers. Now, as we all know, people in IT background, there are ready-made algorithms available in the library. Now, programming is also to an extent at a basic level, just assembly of those codes in their statement of work. You don't really need to write basic functions. You can download those functions and features from library of any programming language and just complete your task. Previously, you were forced to write those lines of code. Just look at it from a simple perspective, that using Excel, you get so many formulas now. Earlier, maybe the earlier version of Excel did not facilitate those many functions in Excel. So this is a gradual shift. It's either adopt, as we did, as humans have always done, or perish. That's the simplest way to go about it. We will have to adopt, find new avenues to work on, and expand our knowledge base so that we can make ourselves relevant for future. With this, I would like to conclude my vote of thanks. Over to you, Rashmi, and thanks once again, Ajay, Nikhil, and Deveshji, for this wonderful platform that you have given us.
Thank you, Abhinav, for summarizing it so well. I think Rashmi had to drop.
Deveshji, you there?
No, I think he had to drop as well.
Okay, so I think with this we can conclude our session today. Please feel free to reach out to us. We can share our contact numbers on the chat for any future connections. Ajay has been kind enough to share that in the presentation itself.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good day.
Number. Feel free to reach out. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. Signing off now.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.